USA Today reports that there is no end in sight for Idaho's growth. With this economic boom in Idaho, and Boise being the capital of the state, it is very likely that the population will significantly grow in the coming years. This means an increase of vehicles on our roads and highways, causing a greater cluttering of traffic and more damages resulting in long drawn-out construction projects. I believe the solution to this is developing a high public rail transportation system between Boise and Nampa. Cities all throughout the United States like Dallas, Seattle, and Washington, D.C. are all considering public rail as a way to reshape their city development. This technology for transportation is the way of the future. Some of you may not know much about the benefits of implementing a light rail system, and this speech will give you more information about it. And some of you may not know a lot about its benefits, but maybe you will learn something new here today. Having spent several years living in Salt Lake City with no vehicle and a busy schedule, including a full-time job, I wouldn't have been able to survive without its public rail system. I have also done a lot of research on the topic from reputable sources. As I said before, this technology is the way of the future, resulting in a cleaner local climate, creating a healthier population, saving the city money with increased revenue, and furthering a greater cause for the United States to be less dependent on oil. We are all subject to breathing the air that resides around us. The United States Environmental Protection Agency reports that when the chemicals produced from motor vehicle exhaust interact with heat and sunlight in the atmosphere, it creates ground-level ozone. When solar energy enters the atmosphere, the Earth absorbs part of it, and the rest is reflected back into space. However, because of higher concentrations of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, the greenhouse effect is enhanced and the heat is trapped, thus increasing the average global temperature. The amount of ground-level ozone is increasing at a quicker rate because the chemical reaction that creates the ground-level ozone is also speeding up due to more heat. According to the Natural Resource Defense Council, breathing this ozone can generate numerous health problems, from lung disease to damaged airways. Ground-level ozone also has a negative effect on local ecosystems, damaging the trees and plants that essentially produce our oxygen by absorbing harmful greenhouse gases from our atmosphere. If the city developed a public rail system, we could greatly reduce our local air pollution and increase our health, all while saving the city money and increasing revenue. There's no denying that a project of this caliber will be expensive, but with fair revenue and decreased road damage and reconstruction, the long term will outweigh the building costs. The city will generate profit by charging a daily, monthly, or yearly fee that would be purchased by each passenger in order to ride. This type of transportation system is inclusive and has the ability to strengthen social connections, and just like the subway systems in New York City, it will attract people of all social classes, creating a sense of equality among its citizens. With quality maintenance and monitoring, traveling by rail is far safer than car, and because of this, it is likely to draw in more commuters. If citizens who commute regularly travel by rail, it will lower the number of commuters traveling on public roads and freeways, reducing costs on road damage. Now that I've discussed how a light rail system will save money and increase revenue, I will explain how it is energy efficient. Developing a rail system isn't only beneficial for our local community, but will contribute to a greater cause for the country that our community exists in. We would be reducing our dependency on oil and advancing cleaner energy. It can be argued that electricity isn't the cleanest form of energy because it is powered through coal plants, which also contributes to environmental problems on a bigger scale. However, relying on electricity-based transportation will still reduce those harmful exhaust chemicals that we breathe, and will also increase the potential for the city to develop the necessary infrastructures to produce electricity through solar and wind in the future. Just as Michael Pollan states in his paper about agriculture called Farmer in Chief, quote, "We need to wean the American food system off its 20th century diet of fossil fuel and put it back on a diet of contemporary sunshine," close quote. His underlying message is that we need to become less dependent on oil and harness the energy of the sun. And just like his argument in regards to agriculture, the same can be applied to transportation. By creating a transportation system that is electricity-based, we'll elevate the discussion on what the best way is to generate the power needed. And if our community becomes more dependent on electricity, we can become more reliant on solar and wind. Solar and wind is superior to coal because it is cleaner and cheaper. Developing a rail system that is powered by electricity makes us less dependent on oil, and reducing this dependency is a beneficial contribution toward additional security on energy supplies. In conclusion, a growing population in Boise and Nampa is imminent, and reshaping our transportation system is a viable option for dealing with upcoming problems. Our health will improve, our air will be cleaner, and we will make that step toward being a leading city in energy efficiency. It will connect downtown to local neighborhoods and community centers, creating a safe and positive way for people to get where they need to go. It will also create a system of transportation for those who are poor, who have no way of getting around, and increase the availability for them to have a way of getting to work. I've seen firsthand the impact that a public rail system can make, and the benefits outweigh the costs. I utilize the rail system in Salt Lake City every day. I met new people and was able to use the time from riding the rail by reading, studying, and taking care of things I couldn't normally find time for. Also, I was able to get by without having to buy a car, which made it possible for me to save more money. By this important implementation, we can demonstrate our ability to adapt and prepare for the future with a positive example to others, which benefits us all. Thank you.